Welcome on board all the members who have joined us and will be soon joining us for our interactive session on Fridays. We've had in the last 1 week since we met you last and did the technology and design session, we have gone forward with many modalities with the government and with the buying agents and the factories. So, which Christine will update you a little bit later. But to start the project is what we are talking about today is business in during COVID times and sustainability. These are the two topics that we have selected for today out of the list of topics that we started off 6 weeks ago now. It's 6 weeks. And we'd like ideas and suggestions on how you're working on getting back to work, and also issues on sustainability. How will you be going forward with that? So we will be asking these questions, and Anika will be our anchor today. Anika Pasi, she will introduce her company, and she will start. And I would request her to start with Axel, as we've been having some discussions on some subjects. So Axel, welcome. And Anika, please can you start with Axel?
Thank you, Rohini. Good morning, everybody. Once again, we are a team now, with all the webinars that we've been doing in these 6 weeks. So it seems everybody knows each other so much more than what we did earlier. As Rohini said, we are all of us are like rearing to get back into action with a lot of caution as well, because, whilst the excitement is there to get the economy back in shape and to get our businesses back in shape, there's also a lurking fear, that the spike shouldn't happen again, and how we're going to take care of our employees and our suppliers, and how are the visits going to happen. So I just wanted to, just throw out a few questions in terms of what is coming to everybody's mind. And this is very interactive. So whatever questions are coming, let's talk about it, brainstorm, and at the end of it, come through with some sort of conclusions, closures, if possible, which can help each other. So maybe we'll start with Excel. And Excel, we just wanted to know what is the feedback you're getting from your suppliers in terms of who all are opening, and what are the challenges they're seeing? Any fears or anything they want support from the buying side, the buying agent side? What do you think?
Yes, I think it's an interesting question. So we've been constantly monitoring our supplier base since the beginning of the crisis. And of course, our main challenges right now at the moment of restarting is one, capacity management. Mm-hmm. To the risk, I think that the suppliers are all aware of finding cases within their premises and having to shut down again. Mm-hmm. And 3, it's attendance and return on the top of all the social distancing and the sanitary rules that everybody will have to follow from now. Mm-hmm. So for sure, everybody's expecting a lot of understanding, but we also have some challenges. We have to deliver. We have to make sure that the goods are reaching the stores for our clients. And it's true that we have to have a very strong mutual understanding when we are discussing with the suppliers. We have to give the visibility of what's happening on the ground to our customers, and we have to have the most collaborative approach with our different suppliers. Absolutely. So one of the things we have started doing, for example, is to organize declared subcontracting. Mm-hmm. Meaning we are encouraging our suppliers, for example, to create some bridge with known facilities that they have, maybe in their own network, or maybe because they are a group and they have different facilities that they can offer to us. Okay. And we will be listing them. So we are just closing a phase where we were consolidating the maximum of orders in the same units, and we were delisting the maximum of units, and we are reopening a new phase where we are willing to implement flexibility in the way we work with our suppliers to allow them to react whenever they can. So yeah, that's an important thing. And then Of course, we are nowadays also initiating conversation, and that has already been addressed in some of the previous meetings of how to reorganize work remotely, because we are an industry where people love to meet, they love to see, they love to touch, they love to, spend time together discussing about how the business can develop. And now we have to manage everything remotely, and we have to invent new tools, new systems. So we at Carrefour have implemented crisis management tools, but I'm not sure how those tools are adapted yet to become permanent. So there's still some discussion going on. We are also like a big structure, so every structural changes have to be discussed with all the stakeholders and validated together. So, but yes, we are ready to change. Today you're asking me to participate, and this is the first time I visited my own office, and
Yes.
we are taping everything, and we are trying to organize social distancing and rewrite the guidelines, and it's a jump in the future. It's a real concrete jump into how we are going to reorganize the work with our own teams as well. Yeah.
I was just going to ask you, you looked in a proper office setup. So,
Yes.
I mean, how many of you are there already?
It's just me and my CFO here, and a few maintenance people today.
Mm-hmm. Getting the office ready whenever, in whatever manner people are going to come in now.
From Monday, we are going to give access to small groups.
Awesome. Are you over the curve in terms of your order flows and everything? Those have been ironed out virtually, or you still have to jump into it when everybody's back?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Are you over the curve in terms of the reflow and the order management bit? How much?
So we have just finished a very intense 4-5 weeks of discussions back and forth with clients to have the maximum of goods accepted with some delays or slightly postponed or reallocated to different collections a little later in the season. What is true is that this has to be a mutual work being done with suppliers, because we cannot force the suppliers to perform under conditions which are not under their control. But at the same time, we as clients have many challenges that we have to manage in terms of stock and in terms of accepting goods and not being left with a lot of I don't know, stocks which will really impact our business for the future collections as well. At the same time, suppliers are not in a position to. There's a lot of complexity. How they are going to restart, how many reference they have to manage, slow restart, less attendance and everything. So really with good mutual understanding and good discussions, there's win-win situation that we can reach all of us together. Yes.
More than ever, this is the time to work very closely with the suppliers. This will be the true litmus test of collaborations and stakeholder management, as we say all the time. So this is the time to prove everything. And how about your team members? Are they comfortable to come to office in the manner that you tell them to, or there's a bit of fear or paranoia?
There's one more ingredient here, is that we also have to manage fear. I have the feeling, because some of the collaborators who are living nearby and who have smaller family setup, they are very keen to come back because everybody's missing the collaborative work. But the truth is that people are still worried. People with young kids who have homeschooling systems to follow up in the coming months as well, who have elders at home and everything. So there's a lot of fear, there's family pressure as well. So of course we have to go slow. We have to
request everyone to mute, please. Yeah.
We have to implement a mutual support system between the teams. Those who are attending will try to open the couriers of the others, and we're going to implement mutual support system like that.
Yeah, your HR team will have a very big role to play in yourself, when you open up bit by bit, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes,
we were
that's
just
right.
about it with my
That's
CFO is that we have to teach people how to stand, how to wash their hands, how to,
Exactly.
and those are things that you never expected to have to incorporate in your management, everyday
Totally,
management.
totally.
So
And
it's,
your
it's
head
fun.
office is very comfortable about India because, generally they know what the civic level is. So your French office is quite comfortable with.
See, initially, I think they were a little scared because the first reaction was like India is not like China, and maybe we will have a lot of effects of announcement, and they're going to, build the confidence, but it may just end up in a very complex situation, sanitary-wise, with an outburst of cases and like uncontrollable, and so everybody was a bit fearful initially. But I must say that the confidence is built back, and they are now quite grateful and quite how do you say
comfortable.
comfortable, and they really have the impression that the team has worked so hard to make this happen all through the crisis, that now we are in a good position. We understand what we have to do. We know where we are standing, and yes, of course, there will be some delay management to deal with, which is like extra workload for the next 2 months, but we can do it. We know where we are going.
That's really positive. That's really, really good news. Axel,
Yeah.
I'm conscious that you would want to leave slightly early because you're in the office setup and there's a lot of work to be done. The second topic of our webinar today was around sustainability. And so much progress.
Anika, just a moment, just a moment.
Sure.
Can you now move on to Ruma, please, because she has to leave at 12 o'clock. So we'd like to have her opinion on
There
these
for some
subjects.
time.
Axel will be here till another 20 minutes, so we'll bring her back. And Axel, please do jump in when you think you would like to say something.
And this is
During
very
this.
interactive. So please,
Thank you so much, Axel.
yeah.
Sure.
Anika, please move on.
Yes. Romaji, I know you've been so active in this webinars, and I just wanted to ask you, how are you feeling about the opening up and anything around the virtual trade show that we are all planning? What are your thoughts on that? Romaji, you can hear us? Hello?
Okay. Okay, Anika, please ask Vishal till Ruma comes on.
Okay. Vishal, you like to talk? Yeah?
Vishal, Vishal, please give your opinions on back to work during COVID times and the issues that you've been facing. I know that you've been doing, you've been facing quite a few issues.
No, we have been doing a lot, or trying to do a lot. We are trying to actually learn a lot. Of course, the SOPs, we are trying to put them in place, trying to teach the staff how exactly to react, how to even step out from their homes and reach the office in a certain manner. We have already put the SOPs in place of people picking up each other and dropping them back in the evenings. The problem, what I am seeing right now currently is with no help at home coming, everybody took to certain jobs at home, be it cleaning, cooking, whatever that be. Now, when you don't have help at home and I say, please resume office from Monday, that is going to be a big challenge right now for people to join back to office. They may have their parents at home, they may have their children at home. Right now, they're all being taken care of.
So Vishal, could I just make a suggestion here?
Yes, ma'am.
What we are trying to do, like you, we have people in many states, people who are still no help, no kids going to school. So that's a huge burden I think, on a lot of us. And like most of us, we probably have a lot of women workers. So
Yes.
they're still the primary, child caretakers. So I would suggest to everybody to look at continuing to work from home with limited attendance in office where needed. So we've opened our office, but we have very strict protocols that you cannot just turn up in office. You need a reason to come to office. So I think that we can really help each other by sharing this message. come to office when you need to. When do you need to? You don't have to come to office for meetings anymore because we can all work on the virtual space very well. You have to come to office when you have to approve a sample. If your quality counterpart can't come, he can be on a Zoom call. You can review samples. So we're trying to it's really about reprogramming ourselves and getting used to this distancing. And another thing I would suggest to all our members, I'm finding it really useful, is once a week, have a whole company Zoom call where you just see everybody's faces, or at least you know they're alive. And even if they have nothing to say, they hear your voice, they see you, and they're part of your, you know, they feel part. There's a great danger of people feeling isolated, distant. So they want to flood back into office just for the companionship, but they can't, they shouldn't. And we have no public transport, just to add to that. So that was just my little bit, if that's of any help to you guys.
100% correct.
Definitely, Christine. I think that was a great point. And I think that the question, I'd like to throw this open to Pushkar, Anika, because he had some points and issues while working. So let's bring your ideas and suggestions in, Pushkar.
Yeah, hi. Well, this COVID time is like, it's not a time for lockdown actually. The COVID time has been not predicted by or just not calculated by anybody. It's going to be last for a month time or 2 months time or 1 year time. So whatever we are taking steps of planning, it has to be for long term. Like rightly said, it's a relationship marketing, relationship business will be in future. So we have a good relationship with our team. We have a good relationship with our factories. Then they will cooperate with us. It's all about cooperation because we can't push them to do production, and we can't push our employees to go and check the goods. They can't do it. They might be in contaminant zone today. Maybe it's a government rule there. I mean, sealing is there, but maybe after 2 months, 3 months, this COVID problem can be like, suddenly you hear 1 or 2 cases in one particular gully, mohalla, and street, and the police locked down the area. So it's very uncertain time actually. It's very uncertain. I mean, it's going to be long term. We have to plan and very cooperative with the suppliers, as well as informing our customers that there could be delays, unexpected delays. Apart from this lockdown period, the factories are trying level best to start with 30%, 50% staff. Again, they will also have challenges. The same manufacturer, the sub vendors will not be used. Maybe sometimes they can't use the same sub vendors. Sometimes the same staff they were using in the factory to come and do some job, that maybe that staff is not able to come because that area might be sealed. So that there will be challenges at the factory level, and we have to convince our customer not to do seasonal things, or if they have to do seasonal things like Christmas, they have to plan much more time in advance, not like 2 months, 3 months kind of time. They have to plan maybe longer time. And at the same time, factory needs to understand that there could be a 60 days, 70 days delivery time, but they are ready. And we have taken extra 1 month time in production. We can't push the goods from factory to be on the boat and reach the warehouse when it is not required. So it would be totally mutual understanding between, among all three, agent, buyer, and factory. And of course, the challenge is like, I got some small orders yesterday and last week also. We had the PIs, we want to send advance. One factory said they don't want to take advance because he doesn't know his own factory area has a case and he doesn't know it's going to be open another 28 days time. Until then, if there's no case, then only the factory will be allowed to work in next 21 days time. It could be the situation. So he says he's not willing to take the advance or start. Similarly, one factory is okay with the advance but doesn't want to give any dates. So, it's like nobody's like giving any kind of commitment. So it has to move on like this only, and customer has to, adjust and cooperate with this. We have to live with the situation, and we all have to, including buyer, has to live with the situation. Suppose I had a small order of Christmas. I said no for Christmas because I said, if you want to give it, but be ready. It could be delayed or something, because factory will be like asking us if they have goods ready on time and it's delayed because of the government sealing, and they lost the money in that, and only the advances they had, they don't have the full money, and the customer will be same trouble that he can't use the Christmas stuff after Christmas. So it's just very confusing situation actually. And I think we had to just work closely. I mean, it's a very dicey. I mean, we are working online like Zoom, Skype, WhatsApp call, and we had to work and maintain the relationship also without meeting them. I
Mhm.
mean, we make
That's true,
relationship.
Pushkar. And I think that one of the good things that you've come up with, at least the business is alive, that your customers are giving
Yes, let them be
you the
alive with
order.
a little bit of. My employees
With
have to be
never
alive. I have to be alive with half of the money or lesser of the money. And
yes, yes.
similarly,
All
customer
of
need
us.
to be alive with a lesser of the business. But
Yes,
there
yes.
should not be
Every
any
drop
kind of
counts
push.
in the ocean today. And Anika, I'd like you to take on the next question and try and see if Ruma is going to come on. If not, I would like Michael to, jump in and give us his opinion on the work from home situation and working during COVID times. Anika, please.
Yes, Michael, you're there? I think Rumaji had left. She's back again. Yeah. So let's
All
go to
right.
Michael and then Rumaji, right?
All right.
Michael, you heard the question?
Actually, first Ruma ji, because she had to leave and she had already told me. So if
Okay.
she's there, please take her on.
Rumaji, are you able to hear us?
Yes, I can now. For some reason, I couldn't hear for a little while.
No worries at all. We just wanted to have your inputs in terms of how are you finding it and what are your thoughts on the coming back from.
Working during COVID times, Ruma.
Yes. Actually, what we've been doing in the last 6 weeks is that I have a meeting every day in the morning with each of my business units.
Mhm.
Firstly, with the team leaders and then with the rest of the team. So, one business unit a day is what I work with every day. Once a week, I call in my entire office
Mhm.
on Zoom. And I feel it is very important at this time to teach people the discipline of working from home, the discipline of interacting with team members, not looking only for direction to be called in, taking initiative, calling people, and reaching out to your team. Um, and that has, I feel, been very successful in our office because a lot of my team were getting depressed. They were looking at their neighborhoods being sealed up. They have issues with family and so on. So that 1 hour we have made sacrosanct. No matter what, we meet at a particular time, and that sets discipline. Secondly, in the evening, we have a specific time to mail each other. What's been done in the day? What are the problems they've faced? Where do they need help from their team leaders or from me? The idea is to let people get discipline in this new environment. When we are in an office, we have a structure. That structure is right now only virtual. So the structure has to be re-established individually. And that is the way we are going to continue till July.
Okay.
I'm not opening up my physical office till July. I have informed my team leaders and my team members because travel is going to be difficult. People stay in different parts of the city. I, for example, live in Gurgaon, so I can't even get into Delhi. If I can get into Delhi, I can't get back into Gurgaon. So we have decided, because it's an NCR and we have people coming from Ghaziabad and Faridabad and Noida and Gurgaon and so on, we are not going to stress ourselves on this. We're going to work remotely and we're going to actually clock into office every day.
Mm-hmm. So Rumaji, how are you? Are you starting to do some quality QC checking already, or the factories are shipping
Yes.
on their own?
No, we are doing quality checking. What we've done is we've established a protocol. So firstly, we have started taking, once the factories have opened up and the owners have gone back to factories, to really reassess where we left off on the 22nd of March, reopening merchandise, looking online to goods in the factory. That is the first step that we have done. The second is whatever online goods were lying in the factory, we have started doing online inspections.
Yeah. Okay.
Firstly. So what we are trying to do is that online and finals we are going to do virtually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And midlines is where we are going to try and go physically. We've set up a protocol with the factories who've opened or who are ready to do a midline or a final inspection, depending on where the goods were. The halls are being sanitized. We are going to go in with a team of 4 or 5 members from our company. These are offsite offices from us, and they're going to go into an empty hall with cartons lined up. They're going to look at the goods. They're going to make their reports. They're going to put stickers on wherever they need to, and they're going to give a report to the owners and leave.
Okay.
With minimum interaction with anybody.
Okay. Rumaji, I think Sandhya has a question. I will call her in.
Sure.
But meanwhile, there was another question which was coming through, which was that people who are in the fields, current, and especially now, because the risk is still pretty high,
Yes.
are the offices doing anything additional for their insurances, etc., or any other protective gear, or what additional things we've done in order to secure them?
I have bought 100 sets of protective gear.
I see. Okay.
So
Excellent.
anybody who is going to a factory, they have to wear complete protective gear. And so far, I'm trying to see if we can minimize the reuse, because if I use 5 sets in different teams per day, I'll be using 25 sets a day.
Absolutely.
And I cannot afford that.
Totally.
So I've been talking to my medical advisors, doctors who are in the field. If they have minimum interaction, firstly, they are being provided transport by the company, so they are not using public transport.
Awesome.
So their interaction with the public will be minimal, and we want to see if it is at all advisable to reuse the gear after proper disinfection. So we bought these big spray things with disinfection solutions in them.
Okay.
And once they come back into the offsite offices, they remove it, disinfect it. And because these are apartments we have, these are not commercial spaces, we've advised them to have a bath.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are a lot of these PPEs are reusable as well. So there are different grades. And
Yes, so that is what we've done, and we've advised everybody in the offsite offices to go back to the office and have a bath.
Awesome.
Excellent.
So that is the protocol we are looking at. But the first step right now is to make a list of the factories which are open, which are sanitized, and what stage the goods are, because everything that was left on the 22nd of March may not be ready to ship. They may be in a state where they are not shippable. So that has to first be looked at carefully, and then physical inspections done.
And I'm sure you have a task force or like a COVID task force who's just leading from the front besides your leadership on that front. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Sandhya, did you have a question for Rumaji? Just let unmute.
No, hi everyone. It was not really a question, Anika. I just wanted to come in with about the discussions that were going on. So just to update you guys that there's no question that one is opening because of the practical problems discussed. That means NCR versus Delhi, and Delhi being surrounded by 2 states, so people are living in different states. Very difficult to come. And also, if you open up once, then you kind of take responsibility for everyone who is with you, your staff.
Exactly.
And you don't want to do that, because tomorrow if there is absolutely just even one case which comes out of your staff, it's not that you're responsible, but it's just that the operations then come to standstill, because all of us then need to contribute quarantine. So so it was just a sort of a comment to say that we are not opening. And I have one particular very important sort of feedback to give, that we are facing a problem is that, see, we have to give very positive feedback to our customers, and we are all doing that. We are engaging with our customers on a daily basis, giving a feedback about the factories, that 33%, 50%, north, south, wherever. So that is giving a good feedback to the customers. They're all feeling bullish. They're talking about Christmas, fall. They're coming back to us with developments now. That's okay. But how do we handle the current orders, which we have taken commitments for June now, with staggered shipment dates, but we need to respect them for the business further to flow on, right? And what is the problem we are facing as of now, which I'm sure all of us must be facing, but I just wanted to bring it up to the general discussion, is that how to prioritize our orders with the factories. Because the factories are similarly, being challenged by all other buying agents, some of them, maybe some of you. So how do we then manage that? And everybody would be pushing for their orders. So we have to understand the factories. They're all working with reduced capacities. That's number one. Number two is that the factories are genuinely facing a problem of backups in terms of their processing units, the printings. The finishing, cut and sew, most of them are doing themselves, but most of them have to depend on other factories for printing, or for in South for weaving and dyeing as well. So that is where a lot of the orders are getting chock-a-block. So how are we? Are others, all of you as well? Some of you are facing the same problems.
Sandhya, moving that the labor continues,
Christine,
sorry, can I? Can I just speak? I'll just actually speak.
Come in with the announcement also right now, Christine.
Yeah.
So
I'll first tackle this point and make a suggestion to all of us. I think now, like never before, is a time for us to actually look at this whole collaboration concept. We are already talking a lot, sharing information, but if we see a facility that has capacity, it means, and we're not using it, or we are not able to use it. I'm going to suggest that we set up a Google Docs on a Google Drive, so all of the BAA members can access it, put information there. Sandhya is absolutely right. Printing and dyeing facilities, which are outsourced for many, they're common, so it's not a threat to any of our vendors, but just sharing that information. As she said, we're all busy monitoring who's opening, who's closing, who's doing what. So I'm going to suggest that this collaboration, so I find a WhatsApp group quite difficult because you lose the track. So we'll set up a Google Drive where those of you who have information, we'll just call it the COVID collaboration, buying agents COVID collaboration, and let's see how we can do it. So I think that's a great point, Sandhya, and really worth pursuing. And I would be happy to collaborate, because I know we're tracking printing in E-Road. Some have opened, some have not opened. Those with ETP are opening. Any facilities without the proper processes, I think the government's taking this opportunity to kind of keep them dangling, maybe that they will become compliant. So it's quite difficult. So we're going to do that. And what Roni was talking about is actually something that we have been talking about just pretty much the last couple of days. And then Axel actually called me yesterday that we need to lobby, we need to write to our textile secretary, to Mr. Ravi Kapoor, and take him up on his offer. He made an offer on, I think it was the 19th of February, when we all met in the Imperial Hotel for a big lobby, which was a slightly different times. They were looking at where to take advantage of China being on the left foot, and now the platform has changed slightly. So, but what I think it's important, so I think BAA will write today. Axel, since I think Carrefour is a very big name, I would like your letter too, just saying that we need a nodal, he offered us he offered the industry a one-point contact to resolve these day-to-day issues, whether it's passes to get out to the factory, I think we should get on a call. What I'm going to try and ask for is a call with him next week just to discuss this. And then the other important point that is still pending, and you know we've been lobbying at the highest level, is to allow the export of non-surgical cotton fabric face masks. We believe it has moved. I mean, I have it from the horse's mouth that the Secretary Textiles has moved the file to the Commerce Minister. It has to be approved by DGFT, and they have, everybody I've spoken to has assured me that it will move the classification from banned to open. It will not be in that intermediary restricted, which then requires a lot of paperwork and a lot of bureaucratic hurdles to things. So we don't know when, because as we know, the bureaucracy does move at its own speed. All I can say is that the BAA has been very, very active in doing that. And I think we will talk to Mr. Kapoor about getting ourselves a, one point contact, who would probably be a group of people in his organization who will evaluate and take buying agent requests, which is for critical visits to factories, and to be able to I think there's a lot of coordination. So Axel, do you want to talk about some of the other coordination issues that you're personally experiencing? Because I think logistics is also another big one. A lot of the ICDs are not necessarily functioning. The ports are not necessarily up to speed. Axel, do you want to add anything on that?
I think you've summed it up, but I have the feeling that we've already started receiving some kind of feedback from our exporters saying that they are facing difficulties with those different facilities.
Yes.
And I would prefer that this is addressed ahead of the massing backlog that is going to be created in the coming months, with all the orders trying to be floated and everything. It's better to have a proactive approach than to be all stuck because we have renegotiated EDs, we have secured to avoid cancellation, we have secured orders and everything. We've done a tremendous work to also help to avoid cancellations and everything. But if the goods are stuck for several weeks in the customs and in transit, it's going to be very difficult.
Absolutely.
Actually, what I'll tell you what would really help. We've got about 23, 24 people on this call. Can all of you send a short note to our info ID, just saying this is how much money, orders at stake. Money talks when you talk to the government. I mean, I was just looking, I think we have about $30 million to ship by July. And if this carries on, if this stop-start, if this lack of clarity carries on, it's all going to get cancelled because a lot of it is for seasonal selling. So, I think if all of us can share that dollar number, we're going to consolidate it and multiply it by a few, and let the textile secretary just know what is at stake in the industry, because all of our industries, apparel, home, everybody except leather footwear comes under this Secretary Textiles. I mean, I know I have some jute orders, which the buyer's been screaming for. The orders were supposed to leave in April, and they have every 2 months they want several container loads of jute, and we can't because the jute mills are not operational. So, and there's a lot of lack of clarity. So I think that's a brilliant suggestion, Axel.
Also, I think the biggest exporters are they have the connection, they are able to find solution. But
it's the smaller ones, and it shouldn't be. We shouldn't be running the businesses based on connections. It should be a level. This is the time for a level playing field. So totally agree.
Okay. And also,
I think Ruma has her hand up. Yeah,
Christine,
carry on, Annika.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, that the other thing that I think we all need to work on, there are two basic things. We are looking at Christmas right now. Everybody is really pushing for Christmas orders. And, we've been fighting the last 2 months with customers not to cancel orders. And on the other hand, now that the factories are opening up, my vendors are telling me, please get some orders canceled, because our labor cost is higher, our product cost is higher, our transport cost is higher. We can't ship, we'll be in huge losses.
Especially heavy goods or goods with a lot of hard work.
It's crazy. So now I have vendors calling me requesting for cancellations because they're going to lose more money shipping the goods.
Correct. This is the other side of the picture.
So
Ruma.
what I would like to everybody to focus on, what I've been now focusing on, is buying stock. Other than my brand customers who need to have their branding and in a collection, but there are a lot of customers who just want ready goods, which they fits into a collection and which can sell. So here we have a
That's maybe
win-win
another
selection.
Google group we can have where we can plug in stocks where we know.
Yes, because
Yeah,
those
available.
goods are ready.
So we
And they can
already,
ship.
Ruma, we already have the Google group. I will ask Ankit, who's on the call, to share it with everybody again. Ankit, can
Christine,
you
the
just...
problem is, listen, I've gone through that
I
group.
will do that, ma'am.
It hasn't gone through to all the vendors. Most vendors do not know of
Well,
this.
let's all share it with our vendor base. So Ankit, put it on the call here, put it on the chat. Everybody, please take the link, send it to your vendors. Just ask them
Sure.
to upload. Okay, it's a one way. They can only load it. They can't edit. They can't delete it. There's the control is with the GS office, but anybody can upload. So it's a one-way street. Let's get
And
the
all
ball
the
rolling.
vendor associations. And
They'll
all
have
the
to
vendor
email it to us. They
associations,
cannot
yeah.
upload it. They can view it, but they cannot upload
Okay,
it.
all right, that's fine. So they can view it. Let's see if we can give them uploading
Christine,
rights. Yes.
So
I check a lot of stocks. You know, the quantities are 30 pieces, 40 pieces, 200 pieces.
Sanjeev, it doesn't matter. Some people need those quantities.
Yes.
We have to widen the net to more vendors because there's
And the
plenty.
prices are really high.
Ross,
No, but when I was speaking on the Messe Frankfurt panel, we had about 400 people there on that webinar, and nobody knew of this initiative we had taken. And when I spoke about it, I've got a message back from Messe Frankfurt yesterday and day before saying, can you please tell us where we can tell our vendors to put in stocks? So this is merchandise which is ready to ship. And
Okay,
this will
Ruma,
help customers.
to address this, there is an opportunity now. EPCH is having a virtual fair. Next 3 fairs which we have announced from BAA, that all the members in BAA have to send it to their customers to find out if those dates are good for them to go through the virtual fair.
Yeah.
I spoke to Rakesh ji. Actually, I had wanted him to be on the EPC, to be here today, to be able to address this to all the members. However, he suggested, which is even a better suggestion, that EPCH will hold a special webinar with buying agents to promote the virtual shows with us. And during that virtual show, I think we should take this stock merchandise up so that all the vendors who come on the virtual show can be advised. And
It's too late. Rohini, it's in July. It's too late.
July is very late.
It's to ship now.
No. Wait a minute. This we are now. With what we are doing is you continue to do it, but if we can do it through EPCH, because they are a vendor base.
That's what I'm suggesting. That all the export promotion councils and all the vendor associations we have, they must be highly promoted on this. Please to get their members to put in their stocks. Right now they're barely 15 or 20 lots that I have seen.
So now the EPCH, and now we're going to have a webinar with EPCH on their virtual shows. So this the buying agent should promote this stock business with them, so that they carry it forward. In addition to the letters that BAA is already sending to EPCH or AEPC or CMAI to send it to the vendors for their stocks, whether it is textile fabrics, garments, handicrafts, crafts, carpets, furniture, so that we can have a, almost like actually
it's a virtual market. It's a virtual market. Virtual market.
And that is what is required right now. That is what is required. We are pushing for production on one side, and on the other side, there's a huge amount of merchandise.
Yeah, guys, Ruma, just to interject, Rohini, 1 second. I know for a fact that Ross Stores has cancelled around $7 million, and TJ Maxx is between $7 and $10 million. That merchandise is just sitting in our factories.
Yes.
So we will all reach out. Ankit, please share the link on this. Please share the link on the chat as well. Let everybody share it with the vendor. We have already sent it to every exporter association. We will resend it, and we will figure out a way to make it interactive that everybody can upload. They cannot delete from there. Only the,
Exactly.
and then we will monitor if anything's inappropriate, we'll delete it. Because I think what's happened, we were trying to control what's being put up there, but I'll speak to Anshul and Ankit about this after the call and try to make it more interactive so that it is one way. Vendors can upload. If it's inappropriate, RGS will control it and delete it.
Yeah.
Also, Christine, if something's been bought already, then we'll remove it. So that
Exactly. I mean, unfortunately, we will not get that much. You know, it becomes
Don't
difficult
need
to
to
manage
know.
both ways. But
Let the buying agent contact the factory. If it's sold, it's sold.
Yeah. No, but the same thing, multiple people won't attract, we'll have the rights to remove it.
Yeah, we have the rights to remove it because sometimes people put promotional stuff or inappropriate material. We've seen how that works. So we just want to keep it, we want to keep it appropriate and not waste people's time. And we're setting up a separate, we're having 2 Google Drives. One is for apparel and stock fabrics on apparel, and the other is for home. So we'll keep them separate because there are slightly separate things, but everybody who's part of the BAA group can access both.
I'm sorry because I have to go in a few minutes.
Thank you.
And do you want to address the sustainability today, or do you want to reschedule
Rohini ji, I think it will be good to have Axel's viewpoints on how Carrefour is viewing India as a destination for sustainability. Do you think it's fine?
Let's Axel, I'd like to at least kick it off so that next time we can take it up in a completely focused manner. Only sustainable.
Anyway, I'm just sharing a few thoughts here because I didn't really have time to prepare. I wanted to extract a few data for you, but just to let you know that from our side, sustainability is really a long-term trend that there is no U-turn to that. This is really something that has been in our customers' mind. There is a demand. And now that the technology is allowing sustainability to come up front and to be communicated to the customers, we are implementing blockchain systems. We are implementing traceability systems. And I think if you want my opinion here, this is probably our best choice to position India against, for example, China. I know there's a lot of people expecting China to have a bad press from the present crisis. I don't think China will have a bad press for a long time because they are extremely competitive in price. But India is very well positioned in terms of sustainability, in terms of organic cotton, in terms of sustainable viscose. There is a lot of brands which are existing here on the market, and if we can build that sourcing destination with our customers, India will really build a strong identity in terms of sustainable destination.
That's right. But what do you see? I mean, in terms of blockchain, are you at a very initial stage or it's already...
So Carrefour has initiated blockchain already for food products a couple of years ago. So we have a partner in Europe, and we are now, I have just validated 3 product categories, mainly what we are doing in organic cotton, because Carrefour has developed its own organic cotton supply chain here in India with local partners. So we are trying to build that ambition. We are still at reasonable stage, but we're growing every year from 5% to 10% to 20% of our overall cotton consumption, and we are hoping to reach 50% in the next 2 years. And really the idea is that we are going to display complete transparent supply chain to our customers.
Excellent.
And this is, customers will go in the stores with a QR code. The QR code just needs to be there on the packaging of the product. They can scan it. They will see where is the spinning. They will see where was the farm, at least the area. They will see who are the spinners, the ginner, the manufacturers. We're working completely transparently with our different manufacturers who are agreeing to be part of that adventure. And we are making them long-term partners as well. So I think it's really a win-win situation.
That's beautiful.
Super.
Very nice. Super.
Sorry,
Thank
can I
you,
ask,
Axel.
Annika, could I ask one really stupid question? What does blockchain mean in this context? Can somebody explain? I am never afraid to ask the stupid question. So Axel, before you go, you want to explain to us?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Axel,
so basically some suppliers have already implemented full traceability in their own manufacturings. I'm sure and I hope you have had the opportunity to visit like 3.0 industries in India already, where there is a barcode system which is following the yarn lots to the fabric lots to the different transformation stages from fiber to products. And those informations are all being stored in ERP systems. Those information can be extracted and exploited for communication purpose. So what we are doing at Carrefour level is that we are identifying where are the gaps. So for example, sometimes one specific manufacturer can give us the information from yarn till final product, or maybe from fabric till final product. And we are trying to plug in the different stages which are missing. So of course it's an added work that needs to be done. So that's why we are progressing product by product, and we are obviously prioritizing our big volumes permanent product to start with. But this is a methodology that we want to be able to.
What are those categories, Axel, that you are, which are the priority, like the top three
so
categories?
at the moment it's bed linen, or it's underwear, and your baby bodies. Yeah.
Okay, all right, interesting. So three quite different.
Yeah, we're trying to diversify so that we are going to assess where we are facing difficulties, or where we can just deploy to other products with the same partners.
Christine, very
Christine, we actually do that even in steel.
Yes.
On the sustainability bit, on the supply chain and traceability, Axel, I just wanted to ask you specifically, do you have enough cooperation and reactivity from Control Union? Because we are pretty much advanced in this field as well, but we are feeling that Control Union is not able to keep up pace, because they are the validating authority who gives us all the transaction certificates, certifications.
Are you talking more better cotton or organic?
I'm talking of GOTS. I'm talking of organic.
Organic, yeah. Right.
It's because the Control Union is the body which gives us the certifications.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's true that we are working mostly with manufacturers who already have the certification, and we are engaging other manufacturers to proceed to certification, and we are plugging them to our system as soon as they have it. So we are not monitoring all the GOTS certification stage. I mean, this is something that we are encouraging the different partners to initiate. But this is not something. I'll get back to you. I'll try to check with my team if they have faced some issues. I'll get back to you on that.
No, Afet, we are already working on this with since almost now 6 months. Even the factories which have the GOTS certification and they have a valid GOTS certification, they need to be getting each transaction validated. For example, when they buy the yarn, that needs to be validated by Control Union, and vice versa. Each time there is a subcontraction happening, they need a transaction to be validated. So that is where Control Union has to keep up pace with our initiative. That's very important.
I've not faced any issue till now. One last thing I want to say, and really I have to run, is that in this middle of the crisis, if the customers' reaction towards sustainable groups has been very interesting. They are canceling first non-sustainable orders, because they believe that sustainability is really, I mean, we didn't face too many cancellations at Carrefour level, but whenever discussions are on, people want to keep up with sustainable products and sustainable reference. They want to show that, this transition is really happening, and we are not abandoning this project first in the middle of the crisis. So this is really something that I think is interesting as well.
So that's what we were very keen to understand, and Carrefour has really led the way in terms of how you collaborated with the suppliers. So
can I ask one question, Anika ji? Can I ask one question to Axel?
So please,
sure.
carry on.
Yeah. Okay. Thing is like basically like today I had a session with some Korean delegation and with the High Commissioner of India in Korea, and I had observed that a lot of countries and lot of companies are looking at India as a option after China, and sustainability is going to be very big factor in especially the sourcing from India. India is going to be very big hub for the sustainable products. And I feel the biggest challenge which India will face in the sustainability will be sustainable packaging, because in this kind of sustainable packaging, basically retailers are trying to avoid the use of the bubble wrap kind of material. Thermocol is going to go off. So I think there is only one alternative which I have found so far is the honeycomb packaging. So I like to understand from Excel, is there any other packaging is already there in the market which we can try to find out in India? And also I'm looking for the I feel that because China is very strong in the hemp and bamboo area, which India can, because China is the biggest producer of the hemp, and I think India should move to the production of the hemp and bamboo, which can be a very big turner for the market, because hemp
Yeah.
also it makes the soil fertile. If we just dispose it off, it makes the soil fertile. We don't have to use anything extra to make it fertile.
Excellent.
And also India should use the polyester kind of thing, synthetic kind of product for the specific application, because it is high time that like India has really understood in the COVID situation how to live in hygiene and the health, how to take care of the health and the environment, everything. Now it will be very easy for us to follow the sustainable systems in India. And I feel like we can replace the cotton bag. Government can give the very subsidized, very cheap subsidy if it is investing on a lot of things. It can make the like they have made the mask mandatory. They can make the cloth mandatory, cloth bags mandatory. It will avoid the use of the plastics, and overall the thinking of the people will change towards sustainability. Everybody will have sustainability in their life and the work cycle.
I
And
think you are right. If I may just, I just reply to you quickly and then I run. But there are many options, and I think everybody has to choose their best. I mean, key ingredients to build the sustainability programs. However, you're right. Maybe there is some aspect that we can consider at a larger scale that we could push the government to have a look at it. I'm thinking about more recycled polyester and better qualities. Maybe innovation can do some research in that direction. I'm talking about sustainable viscose. I'm talking about, like, we have a organic cotton program, but yes, there are many options of sustainable cotton also available on the market. There are the research made on the usage of recycled fibers also, and the mix of fibers is progressing very fast. So of course there is some content like blends, fabric blends, that one has to be aware of, because we cannot do everything with recycled fibers. So that's something that you can have a look at. And talking about packaging and hangers, we have already transited to 100% recycled hangers here, but of course we are still using some plastic to some extent, because it's recycled plastic. But we are experimenting from this year with cardboard hanger for some of the sustainable programs, and see how it behaves in the stores. It's not 100% sure it's going to be a success, or it can be implemented for all the programs, but it can reduce to some extent the usage of plastic hangers. And apart from that, poly bags, we have already removed all the individual poly bags. We're only keeping poly bags for the master poly bags. And master poly bags, yes, we are experimenting step by step, because at the moment we are using recycled plastic, but there is a question of transparency, which can be a challenge in some cases if you have to be able to scan the barcodes or something like that. And but at the moment, this is the only reasonable option in terms of the financial accessibility, because yes, there are many options, and again, R&D is required in that field. There are some cornstarch or like different kinds of materials, sustainable, natural bags, alternative to polybag, which are existing on the market, but which are expensive at the moment. But maybe if the market overall is looking at those options and the volumes are increasing, probably we can have a tremendous reduction of cost for those options as well.
Very good points.
Thank you, Excel. Thank you, Excel. I think we have taken up a lot of your time. Thank you so much for coming in for the whole show. And really nice hearing the viewpoints and especially the sustainability point. I'm just going to say thank you now, and Anika is going to wrap it up. It's been an extremely interesting session, and many good points for work from home have come up. How to deal with the factories and make sure that wherever the factories are open, we are able to work with them. And also the sustainability points that Sudhir had got up. And Axel answered it very well. And what's really wonderful is Carrefour is actually actioning this on the ground, which is extremely good. And I'm going to say hello to Manoj, who's just stepped in. And Michael, if you have anything to say, please go ahead about work from home, sustainability, and Anika will then wrap it up. Thank you so much.
And Sandhya has a question, so right after Michael.
Bye everyone, thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye, Axel.
Thanks, Axel. Take care.
I had one question to all the participants here. That is one genuine problem we are facing at this moment, and I would welcome some suggestions. Most of our factories have the social audits, right? So now the social audits are expiring in the period of April to May, and they are due for renewal. And whenever we are contacting the factories, they are coming back to us, understandably so, that they aren't ready for it and that they need some time. So the customers are not sure, very definitely not wanting to wait, because at this moment they're all trying to squeeze and shrink their supply chain too. So how are any of you facing this concern, and how do you suggest we handle this? Any suggestions?
I can answer partly, Sandhya, on that. I would say most of our customers are slightly less rigid on the compliance side, but on testing, which is often very similar, what we've gone back and we have negotiated short-term, temporary, using other ways to validate product, whether it's a factory doing self-testing, or we're using existing reports for similar products. So I would say that this is where a buying agent can really come into their own, our relationship with the customer, and just say, give a 3-month extension on the compliance, because it's simply not possible to do it. The other thing is, and BAA will be getting back to you guys as soon as we have further understanding. Yesterday, EPCH has rolled out they termed it post-COVID compliance, but I think they're working towards this common compliance. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a much smaller group session with EPCH to understand what it means, and are they going to market it abroad as well, so that we can tell our factories, okay, if you have this compliance, the other compliances will not be, they will wait, or they will accept this as a partial. So we'll get back to you on that, Sandhya. I think it's where the buying agent earns, where we earn our keep in being able to convince our customers that these are not normal times. So at least I would ask for a 3 to 6 month, I would ask for a 3-month moratorium on, saying it's just simply not possible to put those in. So I hope that's helped to answer your question.
Yes, it does. It's just that one, that the feedback I've been giving to the factories is that try and go through it, because the minute we try and sound a little hesitant, it's that we aren't sure of that particular factory. So it's
a double-edged sword. But I think you can really use the basis that this is not normal times.
Sure.
So factories are, we're either asking them to focus on one thing or the other. And I think the message is let them focus on starting their businesses and being operational. And I think, Sandhya, one other point, if you could share with them, ask your factory, all these factories have put in amazing protocols and processes. So that in itself is an indication that the factory is towing a line. It may not be the extended compliance line, but share that with them as an interim and just say, look, this is in place. So that's pretty, it's most of the factory compliance reports I've seen are pretty impressive. And if they don't have one, what I would do is create a generic one in your organization and share that and say that we're enforcing this with our factories. and give the customer some reassurance at that interim point.
Right. Thanks for your input. Thank you.
Christine, is there anything else you want to
yeah, I did. I don't know if Manoj and Sam wanted to say anything, but I just sort of wanted to say is that I can see that sustainability is a huge topic. I think we are currently we're planning to do these Friday. We'd like to meet on Fridays, and we are going to sometimes do webinars, and sometimes we're going to talk like this about relevant topics. I think both are very good for us. I know everybody's going webinar crazy, so BAA is going to be very mindful and try to find really specific. So your suggestions are great. Please send in your suggestions. I think sustainability is going to be a massive one. And I think if Rohini can just run through we've got definitely, technology was fantastic. We're going to do a technology too, because we think we have to really tackle photography. I mean, it's a topic that's coming up, digital photography. We are talking to people, so we want to do a technology 2. And if there's more, we'll do technology 3, technology 4. We're going to keep it very relevant. And I think design, Rohini, do you want to just run through? We had a couple of other points, but please do send in a short note, just send it to info, and we will, and if you know anybody who can speak on those topics as well, that's what we're looking for. We want relevant, it's not about us talking on these webinars. The webinars must be industry relevant, and we will bring in subject matter specialists who can give us a lot of help, and we will invite vendors to these webinars, because obviously they are the ones who are going to do a lot of the implementing.
Yeah, it's more about knowledge sharing. Yeah,
it is. Absolutely, 100%. Exactly. It is knowledge sharing. We're not promoting any one person. If we find somebody who seems good, we're going to put them up on the platform. And I think we saw the webinar on technology was fantastic, and there's much more. So we're searching all the time. So if any of you have any leads, just shoot it to us. And speakers, people who can, we obviously want people who can speak and be articulate. The communication now, I think, is super important.
Yes, some specialization from sustainability, technology, and design would be welcome, and we will go through all of them and set up our webinars on that basis, because I think that on these focuses there has been a large interest from the industry, and we have to carry that forward. We will go in for skill development for merchandisers and MMs and DMs and the lower end staff also later on. But I think right now the current thing, because we have to go into marketing
you're
mode.
absolutely, so it's knowledge, it's new knowledge, it's
yes,
our new normal is sustainability, it is technology, it is design. I mean, those to me are the 3 key ones. The other stuff, we're actually talking to a few of the universities, and now with everybody operating online, we've got a couple of there's a college outside Jaipur, and then there's a new one coming up on the Sonipat stretch next to Ashoka and Jindal, that we're talking to do some specific, related to our industry, because they're quite keen to, keen to have that linkage, collaboration. So that's sort of in the works. But I think the focus now is these knowledge, information related due to things that we all need, and we need our vendors to really step up to the plate on them as well.
Rohini, I just wanted to say that there are some raised hands, so maybe whoever has a question, can you put it on chat and we can take it up in the next session? I think we are running.
No, let them have their say today itself, and we'll give them 5 more minutes, because it's always nice to talk. That's
Himanshu, you had something to
who
had a question?
Who had something to say?
Himanshu.
Go ahead, Himanshu.
Just want to ask how you guys are handling your QC movements in the various cities. Like if you talk about Muradabad and Jodhpur, how you guys are handling that situation? Because I am finding it a little troublesome for QCs to move, especially in some interior areas of Muradabad kind of place.
Good question, Himanshu.
Can I answer?
Yes,
Sam is off the call. No, Sam is off the call. But what I would say is that if it's a closed area, you cannot go there. I mean, rules are rules. So I think you have to understand that we can ask our ministry. So we are going to be writing to the textile secretary, asking him, telling him what the BA is doing, and asking to put in place this nodal officer to help facilitate. But if it's a red zone no go, there's nothing you can do. So please get your factory on with video and start seeing your goods virtually, Himanshu.
It's other way. It's other way. It's Christine. The QC guy is in the interior area, and the factories which are open are in the outer area.
No, that's also no go. Himanshu, that will be a no go. No go.
Get internal audits done, Himanshu. Get internal audits initiated by the factory. Trust your factories. Tell them to share the reports with you and get internal audits. They can do it video. That's what we are doing in the containment zones.
Absolutely.
I was wondering if I could. I mean, I like the suggestion, but you know, this customer and this factory is new to me. This is the first time these factories are shipping. So for first timers.
Himanshu, on another webinar, which Sandhya is saying is correct, do a virtual inspection. Ask them to walk you through the line.
Himanshu, I'll send you.
I find
Himanshu,
it interesting, but want to know like how it happens.
Himanshu, I can do
it's great.
Add in here.
Himanshu, I can do two things. Sorry, I can send you our SOP for online inspections, and it will help. And then you can see if any of us can offer. I'm sure we have QCs. I have QCs in Moradabad. Some of us can offer you a QC person just to make that one visit. We are, as I said, we are allowing, but only critical visits. I think Ruma had said exactly what we're doing. No online. Just one interim when goods are on the floor to check them, and then final inspections you can really do online. So if you just want that, why don't you see if there's anybody? Tanya from Moradabad has her hand up, but I'm happy. I will forward you our SOP for online inspections.
Sure. That'll be good.
Or maybe you can take recommendation about supplier from the group. You can take recommendation in the group with other agents. So if we all recommend the supplier is good, you can trust him. It's your new supplier, could be our old supplier. So if we recommend, then you can rely on his videos, whatever he's showing. It's a live video, not the recorded one.
Yeah, good
point.
Good point, Pushkar. Very good point.
Himanshu, I'd also like to add in here that, for me, for example, one of my QC is also in the red zone, so he can't come out. So what we're doing is we use a Karma app that we've been using since before the lockdown, and now we are training our vendors to use that too and upload pictures from inspections, pictures of samples, and like everybody said, do video calling. But this app is also very, very helpful, and you have everything that you work with the factory on recorded on the app, and you can share it with your customer. So
what's the name of the app, Tanya?
It's called the Karma app, and you can also
app.
Yes, you can also use them for compliance. I wanted to tell that to Sandhya too. And you can, of course, use it for inspections, for sample approvals. Initially, for the last 1 year, we've been, our QCs have been using it. But now, since the lockdown, we've trained our vendors to use it and keep us in the loop, so that at least at some point we have information to share with the customers. So our customers also have access to the app. So
great. Tanya, could you put this on the BAA members group on WhatsApp, please?
I will do that.
Just put it on chat. Just put it on chat. The spellings, is it K-A?
It's Karma. I'll put it on the group, and I think you'll have your own logins and all of that. And also, yes, of course, Himanshu, if you need any help, like Christine said, if it's a standout situation where you need help and somebody needs to visit your vendor, that can be arranged too. So you can maybe personally message me or let me know. That can be arranged too.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanya. In fact, the BAA members group would be great for this. If any of the buying agents wants a QC, why don't you just put a note there and say that
I'll do that.
I'm
talking about it, collaboration at all levels, like whether it's stock, whether it's using infrastructure that my vendor has and your factory needs, offering it out, because this is a time of need, and whichever way we can economically help our factories get the goods going, that's the key, I think.
And help each other.
Help each other. Basically, I mean, not letting each other down in front of our customers. If we've committed to something, meeting up to that commitment, whichever way. I mean,
Keep the India flag high,
So
flying
let's
high. That's
yeah,
what we all
let's
do.
let's collaborate. Just a moment. Thank you, Tanya. Let's collaborate. That's a really good thing that you've said. You've offered, and I think we should all collaborate with each other. Arjun Singh would like to have something to say. So can we invite him? Arjun, you had some points to discuss. Can we have you quickly over? Arjun?
Yeah. Hello, respected
Where are you?
members.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
So I listened all the points very carefully, and one of the points I want to add, um, if first thing is if we could manage somehow to travel on Sundays and do inspection on Sundays, is it possible in the factories? Because in
There's no
during
rule. There's no rule against it if your factory is open. I mean, that's your internal. That's your internal working. I think, Arjun. I don't think there's. Some of our factories do work on Sundays. It just depends on what their protocols are and what your office protocols. I don't think anybody has a rule against. I'm sure my company's done inspections on Sundays when it was a critical shipment.
I know. I really appreciate that. The point is, this time, labor law is really little, relaxed, and as far as the safety is concerned, if we do inspection on Sundays, because a lot of people writing on group that they want to travel, it's not the right time to travel. They are risking too lot. So it's better to, we as a company had decided to do inspection only on Sundays. We talked to one of the vendors. They are okay with that. And what we do, won't enter in the 3-4 floor building. We'll bring down the marginalize in a separate room where we can easily do the inspections. There would be less people. There will be less labor, and safety for both of us. Second point.
Excellent. Thank you.
Arjun, the risk is the same. You do it on a Friday or you do it on a Tuesday or a Sunday. The risk is the same. You're still exposing your quality controller. That's the point.
Correct.
No,
Maybe you think that lesser people, so social distancing can be managed probably.
Yeah. Second thing is, I was talking to one of the vendors. What preparation they have done. They were talking about all those what we are listening and reading on lots many platforms. One of the suggestion quickly I given to them, why not you when factory workers are coming in, why not you are asking them to collect in a gather in a some single place and do some breathing exercise, and you distribute some vitamin C and real lemon to them, because you're doing something everything possible, but why
Great idea.
And what is
thanks, Arjun. Anika, please take over and let's close the meeting. We are overshot our time. That means we've had a good discussion. We've had a lot of takeaways. The only thing is, I would like if Michael or Manoj would like to have something to contribute today, then we'd like to hear them, and then let's close our session today and prepare for the next.
Well, I have nothing much to contribute. I was already late today. Maybe in the next session.
That's why I caught you, because you were late.
Yes.
Michael, what about
Thank you, Manoj.
Michael, you like to add? Michael's there? No, I think he's left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sam, Michael, both gone.
Okay. Anyway,
All right.
the fact that we have prolonged our session by nearly 20 minutes is just saying that this was so interactive and very good ideas have come through. And you look at the sustainability angle, everybody's very keen on it. And I think this is a flag that we can raise up for India. And while talking about sustainability, we were talking about traceability and blockchain. So a bit of a difference between the two. And I think that's also another topic to discuss in one of our next webinars. But I just wanted to thank everybody, Rohini ji, for popping up very interesting questions. Christine, your inputs, Rumaji, all your inputs, and every member of BA has really contributed significantly to this webinar. Again, as I said, there may be a few more questions. We should keep interacting on the chat, on our WhatsApp group or on the email. But this is really the time to come together and be part of the India Shining group, right? All right.
Okay. Thank you, Anika.
Thank you, Anika.
Thank you, Ankit.
Brilliantly.
Thank you, Team BA.
moderated.
And thank you, Manoj,
care.
for the tech support that you always give us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.